The Long Norway Round is the history of a road trip from Ireland to Nordkapp and back, traveling most of Northern and Central Europe. My name is Roberto, and this is Adventures for Mere Mortals. In July 2019, my friend Marco and I spent 20 days on the road with our motorbikes and camping gear. In this fourth installment, I'll cover 4 days spent entering Finland, across the forest of Lapland, all the way south to Helsinki, where we would take a late night ferry to Estonia. After having slept a few hours in our tents, it was time for us to start the second half of our journey, for which the only direction possible from now on would be south. We accomplished a lot already, and it almost felt like it was over. I was feeling calm, satisfied, and the kilometers running fast under my wheels meant nothing. I was lost in the chilly scenery of Nordkapp, even realizing it would take another 6,000 kilometers to get back home. Or at least to our official joint trip and destination in Poland. The 130 kilometers to Olderfjord would be the only road stretch we rode in both directions in all Norway. We set on our GPS the rough location for a wild camping spot that Sala gave us the previous day before parting ways. We didn't want to miss the local tip. After all, it was exactly on our route. After spending the last Norwegian crowns filling our tanks with petrol, in the afternoon we finally entered Finland, and boy, how the scenery changed all of a sudden. Everything was completely flat, the endless road straight ahead and trees everywhere. Towards the end of the day, we spotted our wild camping destination and we dived straight into it to have our camp set up. A constant of the Africa Twin on uneven terrain is the pain of deploying the kickstand because it would always hit the ground.
No.
I guess Honda could have done better in the stands department. We had bought everything we needed for dinner, but first we needed to build a good fire in the stone fire pit and to stash enough wood to keep it going for a few hours. While Marco cut down a larger log, I went to collect some other firewood in the surrounding boggy area. But in the end, we were all set. With a good fire going for our barbecue dinner, I was a happy man.
How many grams of meat do we have? 800.
Shy of 800, yes.
Fireplace, meat. Like idiots, we forgot to buy beer. Like, makes no sense.
Yeah.
We're not thinking anymore. Like when we are in Ireland, beer is the priority. You go in the shop only for beer, for nothing else.
Usually starts raining.
Is it?
It's raining a little bit more.
So to shelter ourselves from the rain, we could only stare at the surface of the lake before going to sleep. That night had not been exactly relaxing though.
It rained all night, and for the good part of the morning we were forced to stay inside of the tent for many hours. So we are a bit late on our schedule, but since we gained a bit of time in advance, it's not a big deal. Just that now it's just painful to pack everything back wet and dirty with grass and chunks of trees and mud and mosquitoes all over the place, getting us crazy.
Breaking camp around noon was definitely late, but we could take it. Our road was not going anywhere, and there were no ferries to catch. In the middle of nowhere, we could even make a little race out of it.
So we needed to stop by on our way to Rovaniemi because we were not able to find a spot to get lunch. It's incredible how difficult it is to find I mean, I'm not even looking for a restaurant, I'm just looking for a place that does anything other than plain sandwiches, because we've been living on sandwiches for 4 days on the road now. I'd rather cook some instant noodles, just have some variety on this and maybe some dessert. Oh, and I got some reindeer meat, which is really expensive in supermarkets. I think it's just a tourist trap. I don't know, I just want to taste it. It's supposed to be good.
Rovaniemi was only a little far ahead after lunch, and we got there in no time.
So we reached Rovaniemi finally. I really had the impression that it's just a huge tourist trap, to be honest. And we have the confirmation that everything in the shop is crazily overpriced. I don't know if we're gonna reach the coastline to get some campsites over the seaside, but we'll push it a little bit further today and we'll see about that.
Here we can see the species of man that is totally not interested in Christmas bullshit.
You don't say. It's just true.
The thing he loves most of this place is probably this bench.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's quite comfy.
After we left Rovaniemi, we were determined to reach Kemi and travel further south along the Baltic Sea coastline. A sudden shower out of nowhere greeted us while approaching the coast, but it didn't last long, and certainly it didn't slow us in our quest for food.
Found the local Lidl. It was like thousands and thousands of kilometers ago since we saw the last one, and we were able to restock our supply of food. Got a few drinks for later, and now we are headed for the coast to find some spot to camp for the dinner and the night. See you later.
Yeah, good luck finding a spot to wild camp now that we no longer were in the northern wilderness. We scoured the countryside for a while, even risking of pissing off people in their homes while riding randomly in the back roads. Finally, before losing the last daylight, we bumped on a secluded little beach by the sea, surrounded by wind turbines. We called it a day.
Ain't nothing better. Cold beer and a warm campfire to end the day. It's almost midnight here, and you can see that by the daylight. That is, we are no longer in the true north where the midnight sun is always present, but still there's considerable amount of daylight. Well, considering that we left our previous campsite around noon, we covered quite a good distance for today, and tomorrow we're still heading more south towards Helsinki, which I think we're gonna reach day after tomorrow. And I'm really happy that we managed to find this place, because it's not only a matter of saving 10 or 15 bucks. It's just a matter of explore randomly and take advantage of the resources that you are actually able to find, like this beach, trestle table over there where Marco is eating dinner, and campfire fire. Just mere luck we found this spot. And so
Not too bad, right? After breakfast, there was time to chill in the sun while getting ready to leave, and also for a bit of personal grooming. We were not savages after all. After the bends and the variety of scenery of Norway, I confess that, as nice as it was, Finland started to grow a bit boring after hundreds of kilometers on a straight road. Lapland was now far behind us, and the further south we went, the more cities and people we met. With the days slowly dying out and with wild camping options going scarce, we set our course towards a camping spot that seemed to fit our needs. The problem was to find it, as the indications on Google Maps were not really that accurate, and the website was in Finnish only, so it was a bit of a trial and error. In the end though, we found the proper dirt road leading to the campsite and rest. The next day we would have a ferry to catch in Helsinki. The night was quiet, but we could not anticipate that after 30 minutes on the road, we would have to deal with some new drama.
Bad luck. My bike chain is still giving me problems. Still, I am assuming it's gonna be the chain again, because in Alta, close to Nordkapp, there was no chance to have a proper motorcycle shop, and I did not change the sprockets alongside with the chain. It was only the chain. I think it might only be the tension, but we needed to engage some local dealers like Honda and KTM dealer. Very nice shop, lots of bikes. So now the mechanics are taking a look at it. One of the guy is taking the bike for a spin. Hopefully he's gonna hear the same clacking noise that I hear coming from the chain. I don't know what to think about anymore. Let's hope they figured it out. Okay, there's an update from 2 p.m. Around 2 p.m. I think we spent quite a lot of time in trying to figure out what the problem was here in the parking lot of the Honda and KTM dealership, and it turns out it should be the rear wheel bearings that makes the rear wheel rattle a lot and making those noises. And we were lucky that another biker guy was hanging out in the shop, so he was not from the workshop himself. He offered to bring us with his car in another shop in a neighborhood where they had apparently suitable bearings for replacement. They already have one here, but we needed an extra one. So we got there, now we got back to the workshop, bikes in, and working on that. And hopefully we will not be stuck here much longer. We will see that if the bearings are done properly, we should be able to hit the road again soon ahead for Helsinki, because we need to catch a ferry to Tallinn, and I don't know which ferry that's gonna be. Let's hope for the best. So it looks like we have my rear wheel bearings replaced. Mechanic took a bike for a ride and looking fine. Marco, let's get out of here.
Let's get some food.
After having burned out all morning, I was really happy that the issue had been fixed at last. The noise was gone. Apparently, we were clear to proceed, and we started riding fast towards Helsinki to make up for the lost time. As a final sign of our approach to the urban area, we rode past a construction site and entered the city, only to reach the harbor and the ferry terminal as soon as possible.
Let's hope that we're gonna make it in time.
Finally, we entered the terminal area and rushed at the gates to check out our options.
We are waiting to figure out how to actually ferry from Helsinki to Tallinn, and we have a booking for a ferry that is going to be departing at 9:30 or something like that, maybe later, maybe 10 p.m. We need to figure out as soon as the other company opens the gate if there's still room on the ferry that it's a bit earlier than that. We still don't know, so we're gonna need to check. In the meantime, we're gonna be having some dinner with like stale bread and seawater maybe. Before the bread. So the option that we were pursuing is not valid, it's not applicable because the ferry is full. So we just need to go to the building to register for the backup plan that we had. We will be arriving later. I think it's gonna be around midnight or something. But there's no other option than this.
If you ever plan a trip like that, consider that you won't be sleeping much.
Yes, definitely not. So we have our boarding passes confirmed and we are just waiting at the gate for the boarding procedures to be opening. In the meantime, since we have like half an hour, I will adjust the gear lever here that was set too high, just to kill some time. In the meantime, see you on the ferry. Thought that it was a good moment to capture the essence of this day, even if traveling across Finland was quite boring at the end. I mean, because the scenery is beautiful. Don't make no mistake, it's just amazing. It just there are like hundreds and hundreds of kilometers that are always the same, with beautiful lakes and forests, some wildlife, especially north in Lapland, and it gets repetitive over time, but we needed to make up with solutions to the problems that we were not expecting, and this is also part of the adventure, I think. What struck me is that I have found a huge sense of hospitality, and I feel blessed by this, especially within the bikers community. Thank you, Tero. I will never say that enough to you. I am thankful for all this. And now, as the sun is slowly setting on my back, we are almost in Tallinn in Estonia and we left Finland. We are looking forward to the final few days of this adventure. So let's get back to the rest of continental Europe for the last leg of the trip.
Disembarking from the ferry after 11 p.m. made me realize it was the first proper dark night after 10 days spent with the midnight sun. We quickly rushed through the city to reach our hostel, booked a few hours earlier.
I cannot really talk loud because it's half midnight and everybody's sleeping.
door. Yes, left. Yes. There's people sleeping in the other room. Marco went to get his last bag from the bikes. We needed to unload the bikes because we cannot leave anything unattended. But, you know, it seems nice. At least we have our beds. We're gonna hit the shower soon. See you tomorrow. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, consider subscribing to not miss the next episode. All good things must come to an end.